So our worksheet today looks a bit like this, and will help us just to think through a bit more of this story, this amazing song in Exodus 15. Now it's quite short, so I'd encourage you to have a read of it yourself. So go to Exodus, and you're looking for the big number 15. So remember, Exodus, second book in the Bible, and you're looking for the big number 15, and you're going to read right down from the little number 1 right the way through to the little number 21. And it's a wonderful song. Okay, and the first little exercise on the worksheet says, complete the lines from the song talking about what God is like. And it gives you the verses at the end. So verse 1, I will sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted or worthy of praise. You deserve honour, whatever quite words your Bible has. Talking about how amazing God is. Verse 2, the Lord is my strength and defense, or some of the Bible might say my strength and my song. Talk about how God is protecting his people. Verse 3, the Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. Reminding us how God is a strong, powerful person fighting for his people. Verse 11 asks a question, who is like you, Lord? It's talking to God, who is like you? Then in my Bible it says majestic in holiness, awesome in glory, working wonders. Talking about God's amazing character and all the great things he does. And then verse 18, the Lord reigns forever and ever. Reminding us that God goes on forever and ever, and that is a great thing. So we've got a couple of questions to have a think about. Why are the Israelites singing about God like this? Well, they've just seen God completely defeat their enemies, the Egyptians. They've just seen them be swept up in the Red Sea. And they're so excited, so pleased, so thankful to God. The only way they can respond is singing. They know because they've seen just how amazing God is. Now, it talks, and I talked about in my talk, why is it such good news that the Egyptians have been sunk like a stone? Well, that's because the evil of the Egyptians has been completely defeated. You can't come up from the water if you sunk like a stone, can you? So it's a picture of how God has completely defeated evil. The evil Egyptians are no more. And that is a reason to be thankful, because the Israelites can't be made to be slaves again. They've been rescued. So it's really good news that God has dealt with the Egyptians, that they've sunk like a stone. They're sitting dead at the bottom of the Red Sea. Question there, what do they sing about at the end of the song? What do the Israelites sing about at the end of the song? If you're looking at verses sort of 17 particularly, you will bring them in and plant them on the mountain of your inheritance. It's talking about how God is going to keep his promise, how he's still going to be with his people now that they're rescued. He's going to keep his promises. Remember those promises he made to Abraham. And he's going to be with them and take them to the land. I love that description. He says, I'll plant them. You know, imagine you've got your perfect little plant and you put it in just the right spot in the garden so it gets lots of sun and all the water it needs. God's going to care for his people, be with them, look after them. And talks about he's going to be living with them, dwelling with them. And that's looking forward to him coming in the tabernacle, the tent, where he meets with his people, and then ultimately the temple in Jerusalem, and then even further looking forward to Jesus. And we'll think about him in just a second. Little challenge there, read verses 14 and 15. And that talks about places like Philistia, Edom, Moab, Canaan. They're just lands around where the Israelites are going. It says, in the box, draw a picture of what you think the foreign kings and people might look like, having learnt what God is like. So, the news of what God has done will spread. And how do you think the kings would react? Oh, scared. I'm sure you can all draw better scared faces than I can, so I'm not even going to show you my drawing. But it talks about, yes, the leaders will be seized with trembling. The people of Canaan will melt away. The chiefs of Edom will be terrified. So I'm sure you can draw some good scared faces in that box. Then a few questions to think about for us. Discuss. The Israelites sang because God had saved them from the Egyptians. if we're trusting in Jesus, how can we sing being even more thankful to God? Well, the Israelites were rescued, yes, from the Egyptians. But Jesus' rescue, if we're trusting that he died for us on the cross, rescued us from all sin and evil. That he's completely defeated not just one group of people who are bad, but he's defeated all of evil. He's beaten the devil. He's beaten everything that's against God. And that is wonderful news. That is an even bigger rescue. So we can be even more thankful to God than the Israelites were because of the Egyptians being beaten. And that's when we can sing to God being so thankful, just like the Israelites were, but even more so because it's an even bigger rescue. Next question, how can Christians sing the same thing as verse 17 because of Jesus? Well, we're saying that verse 17 points forward to Jesus about God coming to live with his people. And how because of Jesus' death on the cross, we can enter into God's perfect world where there will be no more sin, no more evil. And there's that great promise that God will keep us, just like he promised to keep his people, be with his people all the way through when they're in the land, when they get to the land, and in the years to come. God promises that we will be able to be with him in a perfect world, and we will be able to live with him because if we're trusting in Jesus, he's made a way for us and he will keep hold of us, and that is wonderful news. So we can sing those words in verse 17 even more so than the Israelites could. Last question, why is it important to sing about these things ourselves? Well, singing is different just to saying things, just reminding ourselves, because it doesn't only go in our heads, it affects our hearts too. And so when we're happy, we can sing going to God, thank you so much, just feeling that happiness, feeling that joy, wanting to thank him. But singing can also help us when things are hard. They remind us. They remind us that yes, things are hard now, but it is true. God really has rescued us because of Jesus. And just how good news that is. So singing is really important because it doesn't just fill our heads, it helps our hearts and our emotions too. Just at the bottom of the sheet there's a challenge. And it says, take the words of verse 11, so the words, who among the gods is like you, Lord? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in glory, working wonders? Think about how you could sing them to God. As I say, maybe you can come up with a song of your own, put a little tune to those words to help you remember it and help you to pray to God, to sing those words to God. Or maybe use a tune that you already know and change the words to these words to help you sing to God, to help you remember how wonderful it is that God's rescued us if we're trusting in Jesus. And use those words to pray to him, to sing to him about how wonderful he is.